four-time Miss Olympia Jay Cutler. Welcome to my channel, Jay Cutler TV, and make sure to stay in tune with the newest and updated videos. Subscribe below, guys. Thank you so much for following along.
Teenage national champion, took some time off, went on to win his division at the NPC National Championships, which is where he card. After that, he took a couple years to grow, came out to Venice Beach, lived a little bit of the lifestyle, and the next thing we knew, he was competing in the Mr. Olympia Championships. Jay, start with that, your very first Mr. Olympia experience.
Welcome, guys. I wasn't able to attend the seminar yesterday. I was here doing a meet and greet, but I will be present after this seminar right over at 6:30, so anyone that doesn't get a chance to take a picture, I know you guys wanted to, a couple of you guys, but I'll be here all day. But thank you guys for coming out. Yes, it's been an amazing journey for me. We all start at the same level, even before we talk about Mr. Olympias. I mean, I started off on stages such as this, competing in amateur shows, had a dream and a vision to conquer everything in our business. I was able to do that over a long career, but my first Mr. Olympia experience was not so great because I had big expectations going in. I finished second to last in that show. I finished 14 out of 15. Back then, the shows were, the Mr. Olympia had less qualified competitors because there were less contests for the guys to qualify to compete in. And Sean was a front runner back then. I admired all these guys from the magazines. This is pre-social media era. And I had big vision of what I wanted to do, but unfortunately I wasn't able to finish where I expected to. I still feel like I should have done better. I just didn't get the comparison. So after that, I just took, I competed the next year. I moved up to 8th, and then after that I was second until I won the Mr. Olympia. I was second too many times. I want to mention, actually.
You actually set a record. You got 6 second place runner-up.
So, yeah, thank you for that, Sean.
I mean, that's impressive. I only got 2.
You got a lot of seconds, though, too.
I got 2. 6
okay,
is
you got
impressive.
2, but you should have more, probably,
Thank you.
and maybe even winning. So, it doesn't always go like we plan, but fortunately for me, I was able to build an awesome career. I'm still doing what I love to do, and that's inspiring everyone to be their absolute best, not necessarily just get on stage, but in life in general. And I'm still present doing the business of bodybuilding. I'm still traveling the world. I'm booked every week at events. I'm fortunately able to take place at every single Fit Expo around the country. There's a lot of them. I think we had 7 this year. The next one's in San Diego in October, so I'll be present at that also. And to be on stage with some of these great champions that sit on these panels, I know it changes from show to show, but I'm excited to watch Danny compete and Sergio to compete in a few weeks. And Stan, you're getting back on stage. I'm excited to see that because we're around the same age, right? You told me you weren't going to compete anymore, but you lied to me.
I can.
So we're excited to see, these guys continue to evolve and, welcome you guys. I just wanted to say that.
Absolutely. It's an interesting form because we have the end over here, which is still really the beginning because Jay's doing a lot more than just speaking on a microphone. He's got 5 or 6 Jay Cutler classics all over the place. He represents a brand of clothing, supplements, and he's a mentor to many people, including our 7th Mr. Olympia winner, Phil Heath. Without Jay Cutler, I believe he probably wouldn't even have an inkling of who Phil Heath is. Jay Cutler opened that door, Phil Heath knocked it down, and he's going for a record-tying number 8 this September. And I believe Jay Cutler has a large part in that process. Gaetano, you've been around for a long time as well. Coming from the East Coast, things are a little bit different out there. A lot of guys from the East Coast migrate to California. Mike Matarazzo, Paul DeMeo, Jay Cutler, they all seem to make the trip to Venice Beach to live the dream. You weren't one of those guys. You stayed home, trained on the East Coast. Smaller bodybuilder. When you were coming in, there was a small change. You were starting to create the 202 division, now the 212 division. You've had great success, and then boom, you had to deal with some injuries. Tell us a little bit about your journey.
My journey started as a football player. I have a background in football. I played football from 3rd grade all through college, was a collegiate athlete. I never really made the trip to, move out to Venice or, go to Kuwait to Oxygen. I'm not a type of person that needs a group of people to, motivate me to get something accomplished. I'm motivated every day, just the fact that I wake up with a heartbeat. I really don't think you need more motivation than the fact that you wake up every day healthy with a roof over your head. So I never really felt the need to go over there and pursue bodybuilding. I didn't feel like a place would help me pursue a dream any better, any harder, with more dedication or more aspiration than you know, just being home near my family, my roots, and that's how I did it, you know. And being a football player for that long, and anybody that follows me knows I train extremely heavy, which is going to have to change a little bit after this. You know, I had double shoulder surgery, 15 years of football, being a middle linebacker and a running back, getting hit every single play, training extremely heavy, you know, for the past 20-something years. Just really did a number on my body, my shoulders especially. Probably have to go, you know, undergo some sort of shoulder replacement once I hit my 50s or something. But you know, I don't want. I have no regrets because if I regretted something that I did coming up, even the injuries that I have now, I might not be where I am now and accomplish what I've accomplished if I didn't train the way I train. You know, I'm not a bodybuilder that's gifted with genetics like some of these guys up here. I come from a small little Italian family. I probably wouldn't be, Jay, what, over 160 pounds? 165? If I didn't train how I trained. So, you know, now that I had my right shoulder done, June 26th, my left one done, July 31st, I just had a lot of bone spurs and tendonitis in my bicep tendon, so they cut my bicep tendons, reattached them into my humerus. So it's been a struggle. I lost a lot of weight. You know, people think that supplementation plays a big role in losing weight, but unfortunately, if you don't eat 6-7 times a day and you don't train, you're going to lose weight. And that's where I think a real big disconnect is with people on the outside looking in, and they don't really know what goes on internally in the bodybuilding world. But this is probably a blessing in disguise because I really don't slow down or train lightly or take time off. So I usually have to get some sort of crazy injury like this or procedure to kind of sideline me and then come back better than ever. So I'm looking at 2019 to be my best season as a pro yet. So that's all I really got, man.
Well, you mentioned the word genetics, and that's a word that's been kicked around very loosely and gratuitously in terms of guys that have been very successful. There's a lot of bodybuilders that aren't born with great genetics that have to make something of that. Rich Gaspari, Dorian Yates, not the best genetics. Even Jay Cutler, not the best genetics, but through hard work and perseverance, they got there. This guy was actually born on a Mr. Olympia stage. I'm talking of none other than Sergio Oliva Jr. His father won 3 Mr. Olympia titles before he was born, 1966, 1967, 1968, and 1969, competing against Arnold Schwarzenegger back in the day. And I believe it was 1985, Sergio, or with 1984, the world got their first glimpse at Sergio Oliva Jr. when his father took him from his mother's hands and held him up on the Mr. Olympia stage, reminding me of Roots back in the day, and introduced Sergio Oliva Jr. to the world. And who knew? At that time, in 1985, I actually was watching that show on pay-per-view at the Wiltern Theater in Los Angeles. My buddy, my mentor, John Brown, 2-time Mr. Universe, Mr. World, competing in the competition. When I got my first glimpse of you, a lot of people think that would be an advantage. You have a mother that's a bodybuilder, a father that's a Mr. Olympia. It's only natural that you're going to wind up on the Olympia stage, but there's a whole lot of peaks and valleys along the way to get there. And you take a little bit of offense to being a genetic gift. You constantly say about the hard work. You did the work. Your dad didn't take you to the gym and teach you how to be a bodybuilder. Tell us about your struggles, because that's really important, but also about your perseverance, because now you're headed to your very first Mr. Olympia as a competitor, and for the very first time, the son and a father in Mr. Olympia ever.
Thanks, Sean. Yeah, I think me getting into this sport, I don't think I really had a clue really how hard it was. And I think that's a reason why that there's no second generations in this sport, because we're grown into this standard. You know, I've grown into, I can tell you, I knew what big was right away as a kid. I knew what big arms is and being a good bodybuilder is. So if you can't reach that level or greater, why would you even get into it? And then there's the whole other part of the setbacks and the things that go on that the tribulations of this sport. And I think that's why there's not any second generations in this sport besides me, because there's way more that goes into this than just working out and eating, and really that's the easiest part. But I think it's just something that's in me. I had full ride scholarships for football and track, but I was just going to be one of many. I wanted to get into a sport where I could make a change or maybe be something greater, and then what's greater than, making history. I think now getting ready for my first Olympia, I still won't understand it until I'm there. I think, if anything, I'm only now recently been able to enjoy it. I think the pressure is off because I can't win. I'm not winning in 3 weeks, So I think finally to go into a sport or to a show where I don't have that pressure that I have to win, I'm actually able to appreciate all the little things going into it. And I think a lot of guys that get ready for the Olympia, it's always the next show. You never really appreciate it. And I'm really having fun with a lot of the history part of it. And that's something I keep saying, is this is bigger than me, and it's bigger than really any competitor. This is proof that this sport is living on, and I'm so grateful to be able to be that walking example, especially during this current time where our sport is being attacked by people that don't do it. It's one thing for bodybuilders to have their opinion and say this body shape is better than this body shape, but when people that don't even work out or even eat healthy at all, and it's just constant attacking, and then they make up, unfortunately the majority of social media are non-serious lifters. So when they're the main voice, people start to believe that is the consensus of the actual whole sport, and that's not true. The sport is not dying, it's thriving, and I'm living proof that it is living on, and we are getting better. So I love proving people wrong. I love proving people wrong with my career, but I also love proving people wrong when they attack the sport, because it's different to me. This sport, I feel like, is my life. I literally am only breathing because of this sport. Like you said, my parents met from a mutual love of bodybuilding, and it brought them together, and now I'm here because of that. So I love being a walking contradiction to every person who attacks not only bodybuilding but the open bodybuilding class. So I think that part of it I'm having a lot of fun with, and I really look forward to 3 weeks.
To be clear, you were born on the Mr. Olympia stage, but did your dad take you to the gym and show you the ropes at all?
No, not once. And not only did my dad not take me to the gym, he did everything he could to stop me from bodybuilding. I got into it and I started to love it, and I asked him for help, and I think my dad, it's funny, my career now, I feel closer to him than I was when he was around, because I think I'm starting to get the reasons why. I don't agree, but I can understand where he was coming from. And I think escaping from Cuba, only going to 3rd grade, having to work the same job his whole entire life, being a police officer, I'm sure he always said, you know what, my son's not gonna do this, my son's not gonna struggle. And then here I am, full ride scholarships, I can do it through school, and I'm like, I wanna do the same thing you did. So he actually tried to stop me from bodybuilding, and would even call gyms to stop me from joining. And that's actually why I had to move to Florida to start my bodybuilding career, because my dad in Chicago was like Arnold in California. He ran the city. So I couldn't do anything unless he allowed it. So I literally just picked up, packed my car, and I drove to Florida, 176 pounds. I was 6 foot, a middleweight, and I'm like, I'm gonna be a pro. And I would get so mad at people laughing at me, And now I look back, I was so skinny, I was nothing but bones. This is what I describe what I look like. At the used car dealerships, the balloons that are like flailing, that's what I looked like. And I couldn't understand why people couldn't believe me, but I did. I put everything into this, and now being at the Olympia, after going to so many, I went to the Olympia where you competed in Chicago. I've been going to these since I was a little kid. So I really feel like I got a really backstage pass to Olympia this year.
Well, I think your dad did us a favor, because everyone up here told no, don't do it, too small, all of those adjectives that drive us right to do what we want to do. You've traveled the world as a result of your decision. You became one of the best built men on the planet. Now you're competing in a competition. Your father wasn't competing for prize money. It was a whole different time for him to understand the shortcomings of the sport back then. The opportunities were not there for him that are there for you now. And Oksana, you were at home in Russia, the Soviet Union, didn't speak English, not one word. Came to Las Vegas, decided that you wanted to pursue your dream of becoming one of the best fit, built women in the world, coming up behind Susie Curry, fly-in Kelly Ryan back in the day. And slowly but surely, like Jay, you surpassed all of them and more. Traveled the world, eked out a living. Now you're living in Hollywood. America's Got Talent. You created dance, I should say, the pole fitness that's appearing this year at the Mr. Olympia for the very first time. It's about your journey to your Hall of Fame career.
Well, I came to United States in 2007, and like Sean said, it was a challenge for me because it was new life, and I have to learn about new nutrition, training, like champs, like how champs working out, and besides all that, I have to learn how to speak English, how to make friends, and how to find job. So it was challenge, but anyway, I was on my way to reach my goal, and that was the happiest days in my life until including today. And I was placed 16 at my first pro show in 2007, and I heard so many comments and feedbacks that that's not possible for her to be here, and all my environments, people and friends from Russia, they said it's not possible to girl from Russia, from such small city, just to compete with these superstars. Well, I didn't give up, and in 2014 I got my first Olympia title, and then 15, 16, 17, and I'm just telling you guys, if you have a vision, it's your vision, and nobody knows what you see. So that's why don't give up on anything you have in your mind. It's in your body. It's not in someone else's body. It's in your body, and only you can feel it. So, and yeah, that was absolutely wonderful journey, and I'm blessed to meet such wonderful people in my first year when I came to United States, like Jay, Sean, and I just was so inspired by seeing how I didn't talk to you because I couldn't. I don't know what to say.
Because Jay's Russian sucks.
Jay's come to me when I did cardio, and I had a feeling he probably wishing me good luck at my show. So, and all I could do, I just smile and or laugh. Yes, but anyway, just stay around people who inspire you, because you will grow so fast. You don't need to talk. You just see how people talk, what people do, what people eat, how people train, and just thank you so much. And yeah, and you cannot inspire others without being inspired. Be inspired. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Another guy that's old school. Jay Cutler used to look up to this guy over here, Stan McQuay, back in the day, doing his little Bruce Lee martial arts. Stan, you're one of the guys that was classic physique before we actually had classic physique. You never gave in to the subscription that you had to be massively big. As a matter of fact, I think you made your name for your condition and your balance, and now you're made a career out of it and became a personal trainer to the celebrities and the stars. Tell us about your rise to fame.
Yeah, I kind of fell into bodybuilding. When I grew up, I really wasn't into trying to be big. I was a martial artist, so my whole view of bodybuilders was that they were slow. You know, I was all about speed and technique and just want to be quick. When I graduated high school, I played football. I wanted to go to college. I was really small. I think I weighed about 140 pounds as a senior running back. So I started lifting weights, and I just kind of fell into bodybuilding. I remember there was a TV show back in the day on ESPN. It was called American Muscle, and I just happened to go to a bodybuilding show one day, and I was watching from the audience, and Lou Swick, Robin Cheng were there, which were the producers of the show. They see me in the audience, and my jaw dropped when I see these guys on stage in their Speedos. So this is not for me. I'm definitely not doing that. And they saw me there. They said, "Yeah, you have a really nice physique." And I was maybe 160 pounds. I was pretty ripped. Would you want to be on TV? I said, I don't know. What do I have to do? So they said, come to Venice Beach Sunday morning at 6 a.m. and we'll tell you what to do. So I came there. They told me to start hitting some bodybuilding poses. I had no idea what the hell I was doing. They kind of showed me the ropes a little bit, and they said, you should get ready for this bodybuilding show coming up. And it was called Muscle Mania back then. It was a drug-free show. I said, you know what, maybe I'll look into it. So I started training, ended up competing in that show, and did really well with that circuit. You know, I competed with them for a couple years, turned pro in Muscle Mania. But I knew I wanted to take my career a little further because the competition was good, but yeah, I started really looking in the magazines. I would see guys like you and Flex Wheeler, and I said, no, that's next level stuff right there. So I transitioned over to NPC, and I decided I want to make a career out of this. And you know, I just kind of never stopped. You know, I've competed consistently now. This will be my 23rd year of competing, you know, year round for the most part, and just very blessed to be where I'm at right now and to never have any injuries and not be sick and, you know, just still live a healthy lifestyle.
All right, we're going to see Stan on stage at the Mr. Olympia in September. Another OG over here, Danny Hester. You've been around as long as Stan McQuay has. You're notorious for always being in shape. And granted, you're only 3 weeks out from going back to try to get the title, but you've had a kind of a in and out topsy-turvy career as well, because there was no place for you to fit in. As the guys continually getting bigger, you were sitting on the sidelines, but you've been on record as saying you never stopped training, dieting, and eating good. Let's hear your short version of how you got to the Olympia title in 2016.
Testing. Yeah, when I started, you know, I was peers with Flex and Chris Cormier and all those guys before they were even pro. You know, watching Sean and Sean's mentors, like John Brown with the posing and the artistic, you know, just the whole aesthetics of the sport is what drew me to the sport. Testing. Okay. So anyways, you know, I was very fortunate to have Sergio come up to me one of my first shows. He's an icon in the sport. He took second to Arnold at Pumping Iron, the movie, if you don't know who he is. And he came backstage and said, hey, you know, you really have a pretty physique. Do you want to keep doing this? I'll mentor you. So he kind of took me under his wing, and I thought he looked incredible. I was looking at, you know, the Pumping Iron and everything. So I started training with him, and you know, I've always kind of had my own style of training, and I had to enjoy it. And when I trained with him, I didn't enjoy it. So I wish I would have enjoyed it a little bit more, because, you know, now I look back and it was like, wow, I got to train with Sergio and, you know, have that knowledge and everything. But you have to kind of do what's best for you. You know, sometimes these guys, they think that because someone else's physique they admire and they're trained, it might not be the best thing for you. You have to find what works and what you're going to continue doing, because for me it was about a lifestyle. So I had to enjoy it, you know, and it had to work for me also, as far as just physically how my body responded. So keeping that in mind, I felt that really gave me a lot of longevity. You know, I've been known for not training as hard as some other people because I don't make a lot of noise. I don't try to go heavy all the time. For me, it's about getting the pump and the feel and just kind of being in the zen of it. You know, it was kind of like meditation for me more than pumping iron as far as trying to get big. So I think that really helped, you know, with my joints and my body and just kind of keeping it fresh still. Because to this day, I'm still making improvements. I'm 49 years old, going to be 50 in a few months, and I'm still making improvements. I mean, my boy Stan just came backstage. He goes, wow, you look better than last year. Your legs are actually getting bigger. I mean, that's crazy to hear at this point, because usually it's the opposite. So I'm doing something right, you know. I mean, there's things that I like to try, and I see other people doing things, and I'm still learning. You know, I apply a little bit, and I see how it feels. But to me, you still have to listen to that little voice inside to see what's best for you. So, you know, when I took time off of competing, I never stopped bodybuilding. I always kept up with, you know, going to competitions and mentoring other people, competing. So I was always learning that way too. You know, the best way to kind of keep learning is to help other people. So when the time came for me to start competing again is when actually I thought about it after almost 8 years retirement, is when Dexter won the Olympia. And I think I beat Dexter as a middleweight in the amateurs. And I'm like, wow, so they're going back to the aesthetics now, you know? It was like, I wish Sean would have hung around a little bit longer. He might have got one too, you know?
I got out early. Forget about it.
That's what I'm saying. So I thought, okay, let's maybe get back into it. That kind of inspired me, and so they came out with the classic division. Perfect timing. I jumped in it, and since my tool bag was fresh, I didn't burn my body out. I strongly believed that I had a really good chance to win it, and I put 100% in and I won it. And that's the best feeling, is when you really put a lot into something and you get rewarded for it. It's the best feeling in the world, because I've won things and achieved things and I really didn't try, and it's not that rewarding, to be honest with you. It's really now about my self-accomplishment and how much I put in, and to be proud of what I put into it, and it's not necessarily about the placings anymore.
All right, I think the common thread here is that these bodybuilders never stop learning from their mistakes, constantly trying to strive for excellence, surround themselves with positivity, like-minded individuals, overcoming the obstacles, and facing the challenges head on. But right now we're going to open it up for a few questions, because we do have a Hall of Fame ceremony coming up right after this, which is a very important event. These guys are here to try to answer your questions. None of them are beneath us, because we probably all at one time or another have had similar like-minded questions. So by show of hands, we can bring the microphone to you if you have a question for any of these champions. Here we go, right over here.
Hi, I'm Danielle. I've been following a bunch of you guys for a long time now, and I have a question. In regards to like training your clients that you have, when it comes to nutrition, which plays a really big part, how long do you take to adjust the nutrition aspect for yourself or for your clients that you train?
So which one of you guys are a trainer up here? Stan, you train people? So she's asking about how long do you take to change the training and the nutrition for a client?
I'm sorry, just to clarify, just the nutrition part. Like if you need to change the amount of protein and carbs that go into the diet so you get more shred, like if something's not working nutrition-wise, how long does it take before you change it up?
Everybody's different, you respond differently. I think the more out of shape you are, the faster you're going to see the differences. The better, like in really good condition, the faster you're going to see the difference. But in between, it's a little bit harder. But I would have to say, sometimes you have plateaus that last very short, and sometimes you have plateaus that last a really long time, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not working for you. So you have to be very careful to not just keep jumping into different nutrition programs, because at the time it's not working. You have to kind of see how you feel too, and try to look at other people and get feedback from other people with very similar body types and food allergies and stuff like that, that are doing similar things to you.
Yeah, there's a lot of variables involved based on your time, dedication, commitment to losing the weight or building the muscle. A lot of it comes on you. All of these guys train differently and eat differently, but they wound up somehow on the same level of competition. If you're just trying to lose fat, you dedicate yourself to the cardio, commit yourself to the low carbohydrates, high protein, you'll see changes probably a lot faster. Next question? Over here.
Thank you all for sharing your story. It's really inspiring. But I had a question for Oksana. How do you overcome stage fright? Stage fright.
Stage fright. How do you overcome stage fright? You scared of the stage?
Drinks.
This alcoholic right here, he drinks. Oksana, were you scared on stage? Because you certainly didn't look like it.
I wouldn't lie. Of course, I'm nervous too, definitely. But there is some keys. So, if you perform with your heart, from your heart. If you speaker, talk from your heart. So, and the most important thing, I think, be well prepared. So you have, as figure or bikini fitness competitor bodybuilding, you have 4 months to get ready. So be well prepared. And shift focus from yourself and your fear to your true purpose, to your true goal. What you're trying to show audience, or if I'm performer, what I'm trying to tell audience as a performer. Find some ways to get relaxed. So it's such as deep breathing, meditation, or I don't know, some yoga, even yoga, it helps a lot. And stop scaring yourself with thoughts what might go wrong, instead of think about what might go right. And refuse any thoughts about that creates low confidence. Just be really sure about yourself and don't make anyone to put you down.
I think it's more like an education. Preparation prepares you for the test.
Yes.
If you're prepared, there's nothing to be afraid
Yes,
of.
absolutely. So when you feel like you're not ready in some way, in bikini or figure, even suit, suit doesn't look like other girls have. You know, you have to be 100 prepared. Your hair, your body, your, I don't know, presentation, then you're ready to deliver all this on stage.
I think it's different for girls and men. Go ahead, Danny. What about you?
Well, usually for me, if I'm really prepared, then I'm confident I don't have stage fright, or I'm totally didn't prepare and I look like crap, then I just don't even worry about it because I suck, so I'm not nervous that way either.
Yeah, and also have connection with audience. So just smile and greet people thinking they are your friends or family, not enemies. And that will change attitude and audience will see and love it. They will, and you will feel connection with audience, and that helps a lot.
Thank you. Jay Cutler, you ever scared on that stage? You're one of the last men standing, your name's about to be called or not. You ever get scared when you go up there? Does fear motivate you or what?
No, I think people worry about that too much, and to be honest, you stand on the stage and you worry about, oh, I'm in front of a crowd, a lot of the lights are shining up, you don't see that much further than the judges that usually when they're sitting there. So I think really it's just about being like these guys said, it's about being prepared physically. I mean, with your body, when you have a great presentation, you know your poses, you know your performance, you have the right kind of music there, or you have people in the audience that are there to support you and cheer you on. I think it's a lot easier, but we're all gonna go through that. I think I was very nervous my first couple shows because I was afraid I didn't know the poses enough, or I was gonna mess up. Instead of going right, I'd go left, and you know, it's something that we have to overcome, and that's only experience. That's why I tell everyone, get up on the stage and compete. Don't be afraid, because we all started from the same place. I think I started by saying that.
Yeah, I mean, starting out, sitting in an audience, watching seminars, bodybuilding does a lot of things for you other than just make you big. It gives you self-confidence, gives you the ability to take yourself places that you never thought you might go. I don't believe any of these athletes right here thought when they started that they would see the world not once but several times over, which means you're dealing with different cultures, different currencies, different religions, and being able to navigate yourself through these types of situations. The stage is the easy part, because the stage is what gets them to those other opportunities. So sometimes the more success you have, the more confident you become as well. Any other questions? You've done good. Here's a hand over here in the front.
I just want to say thanks for everybody coming, and this question is for just for Jay Cutler. What were the two different mindsets when you were runner-up with Ronnie Coleman and having the title and having to defend it? Was there, when a runner-up, was it improvement, and when you won, was it more like, I'm going to stay this way and just more defined?
I think it was more of a confidence thing. I mean, when you have the title and not having it, it's two different things, but your mindset's still the same as you train to go into the shows, because to be honest, even though Ronnie Coleman was supposedly the unbeatable, and every year I'd go in and everyone's like, you're wasting your time, I truly thought I was going to win each year. So when I said it, I really meant it, because I thought, okay, anyone can be off, or you know, have a bad day or whatever else, or I thought I was improving, and that showed eventually when I did win. It was an age factor, I think, had a lot to do with I was 10 years younger than Ronnie, but I feel that you have to have the confidence like you're going to go in and win. And I trained the same, but definitely when I won the title, like, it put me at another level, and the respect factor became a little stronger. But it really, it was pretty much the same mindset. I love being the underdog, and I love being the champion. I think those defeats made me greater than if I would have won right away in 2001 when I thought I should have, and I got robbed of winning the title that year. I feel like that kind of set me up to be a better Mr. Olympia. That makes sense.
And let it be noted that Jay was the only Mr. Olympia in 53 years to not only win the title, lose the title, but recapture the title. That had never been done before until Jay Cutler had done that. So a lot of bodybuilders can't deal with losing 6 times, first runner-up. Many people would have probably quit in the throes of not being able to win the title. But before he was done, he won 4. And 2008, went head into Dexter Jackson. You admitted that was your off year. You made Dexter Jackson famous.
I gave it to him. I felt bad.
But you came back and took it in fashion. So we got time for one more question before we go into our Hall of Fame award presentation. Here we go.
My question is, how do you guys keep your bodies nimble so that like you don't pull something while you're going with full intensity?
What was the last part? How do you keep the body?
How do you keep it nimble? So
Nimble?
That,
You say
yeah.
nimble? Like a ballerina nimble?
Well, you need like
These guys aren't nimble. She's the only one nimble up here. Let's keep it real. Jay, can you touch your toes right now? Let's see.
touch the toes.
Look at Jay. All right. All right. This guy right here can do the splits. Can you do the splits right now, Sergio, or you gotta warm up? I've seen you do the splits. This guy's nimble. Look at this. All right now. Look at Jay. Jay's like, I'm out. I'm not sure what you mean by nimble. None of them can dunk a basketball. None of them can dance.
Well, but with respect to stretching.
I'm sorry. Yeah, about your question. So I would recommend you to do only static stretching. So only static. Never do dynamic. You know, that's the most, I think, important part. So just static, just freeze and hold your position for a couple seconds. Never do dynamic because it can, you can get injury, easy injury. So just keep dynamic.
And also, you can go heavy, but when you're not going heavy, make sure you do the same movements with full range of motion on everything you do. Then you're gonna have the range of motion, because that's really what it's about. If you're always training heavy and going shorter range just to get that weight from up, then that's how you're actually gonna move. But if you do things all the way, good stretch, range of motion back, not just here, but really full range of motion, then that's gonna help you so much more. And that's really, for me, what keeps me really, what you say, nimble and athletic.
Sergio?
Actually, thanks to this guy at the end, who actually implemented a lot of deep tissue massages and stretching and chiropractic work. It wasn't until I was watching a lot of Jay's DVDs that I realized the stretching I was doing was not enough. You can only get so deep on your own body. So that's a huge thing, is breaking up lactic acid that gets built up will tear for sure.
Dan?
I think in regards to what maybe you're getting at is, it's also your style of training too. We as bodybuilders, most of us train in one aspect, it's a lot of resistance training. But if you want to be more athletic, you still need to incorporate a lot of fast twitch movements as well, a lot of sport specific training. I've incorporated a lot of that, especially now that I'm older, because as I got older, I started to get stiffer. So I incorporated all these things that they do, just as important as the training, massage, stretching, even taking anti-inflammatory supplements, because your body gets really inflamed. So if you're inflamed, you're going to be stiff. So I incorporate a lot more of sport-specific movements with my training, because I still want to be able to move. Every time I lift and I start getting ready for a show, I just get really stiff and everything hardens up. So I try everything I can, just as important as when I'm lifting, to do those other aspects as well, just so I can stay healthy.
Just stretch the muscles out. That's it. All right. No more questions? We're good? We got Dave Johnson doing the Hall of Fame presentation. Some very famous athletes, some bodybuilders. Samir Banu, Flex Wheeler, Oksana, Grishina, some other people are going to be honored right after this. You guys are going to take a group shot over here on this side of the stage. If you want to take a picture with them.
Sean,
yes.
Can I ask a question?
Oh, here we go.
This is my last chance to be able to talk. Jay, any advice on me and my first Olympia?
Here we go. Jay, I thought you charged for this kind of stuff. What's really good? Sergio, serious?
All right, so you're going into your first Olympia. We all start from the same place, right? listen, man, you already showed you're in great shape, so just hopefully you get the calls to be able to stand with the champions that are probably your idols, right? But don't get over intimidated, because I know you admire these guys so much. It's still competitive back there. So just make sure you're relaxed and you know, go out there and show your best. You know, hopefully you get the best comparisons, and you know, I think you're mentally ready to get up there with the best of the guys, right? It's been your dream and your vision. Try to embrace the moment, because it only happens once. So enjoy it.
Thanks.
There you go. How about a round of applause for our superstars? Jay Cutler, Danny Hester, Oksana Grishina, Sergio Oliva Jr., Stan McQuay, and Gaetano Cisternino.